Greetings folks, Dan here, and welcome back to another edition of Kaiju Showcase. So today, I bring you Ligatron, or Rigatron, whichever you prefer to call him. Before making this video, probably maybe 15 minutes before, I was just sitting on my couch staring at all my figures, and I was feeling motivated to do something, and this guy just really jumped out at me. He's like, "Review me!" So, I obliged and decided to do that for you now. So Ligatron, this one was created by Bondi. He's a little on the short side, so he's maybe right at 6 inches or just a little bit below. He was released in 1996, and it was the only time that he was ever made by them. Which again, I know, as most of you folks probably do too, that's all down to a popularity thing, but the biggest thing is, as like with most of these older figures, or this 15-year-old figure, is color, as I always say in most of my videos, is way off. The silver's right generally, and for the most sense that he is silver and with some blacks and browns, but he's not really primarily brown. It's kind of interesting that's the mold color they went with, but you know, you take with it what you take from it what you will. So it's really cool though. Again, color aside, it's an older figure. They didn't take all the time to detail him. It was more cost effective, I imagine. You know, the toy probably cost like 600 to 900 yen back then, so I have no real figure for that. But I mean, the really big thing for it is the detail, just the sheer amount of detail. Like, just say fuck the color altogether and just go down for the detail. It's like all these little, folds and creases, and all these little lines are all here. You even got the thrusters for the jets down here. So, I mean, just to completely ignore the color. But one thing you probably could really appreciate is actually what color it is molded in, or the vinyl it's molded in, because it might not show up very well on this camera, but it has this awesome glitter effect, and it looks really cool. And as you can see, mine lacks a tag, which is very unfortunate, but it's almost pretty much in perfect condition. There's not a paint flaw on this thing anywhere. I'd love to have a mint tagged one just for the sheer sake of having it, because Ligatron is really my favorite kaiju from Tiga. I mean, he's just... I'll try to get into that a little more later. Let's just talk about the figure. Articulation is what you would expect. Arms, legs, head, kind of moves. Not really. Okay, fair enough. I was a little misled on that one. I guess it doesn't move. But I mean, it's really cool. I mean, it's a great figure, especially the detail. You buy it for the detail. If you like this figure and want something really unique, you totally buy it for the detail. But I mean, you could do a lot with it. He makes a really cool display piece. People take shit that sparkles, and if you like the figure, I'd say go for it. The only thing, like I said, I don't like about it is he's really short, and he's supposed to be taller than this. Even if you compare him to Regulon Seijin, which is another villain from Tiga, he's really small even compared to him. So again, it's a really great figure, but size is the big issue. So let's talk a little about Ligatron's history. He only appeared in one episode of Ultraman Tiga. It was the 4th episode. It was Sayonara, Planet Earth, one of the titles for it. What happened was there was a rocket in space that was taken over by, a type of evil entity or something like that, and he took over the ship and the crew and made it into one mechanical, this whole biological machine thing, and it's really kind of cool. It's probably one of my favorite aspects about it, just his design. But then he goes back to Earth, of course, and he just starts laying waste to everything, because he's just a bruiser, just fucks all that shit up. But eventually, you know, Tiga fights him, has a real hard time. He's just tough. He's got this really thick armor, and you just can't really damage the guy for nothing. But the spirits of the astronauts inside of him, just eventually start messing with the monster and make it, you know, weaken him to a point that where Tiga will, you know, ultimately defeats him at the end of the day, which is to be expected, but unfortunate for any of us who root for the kaijus, the lesser known or obscure kaiju that we really like, because you know they're always going to be dead by the end of the episode. And I really doubt Ligatron will ever honestly make another appearance in pretty much anything else. And then lastly, we're going to do some availability, pricing. I don't know, I wouldn't pay a lot for it because he wasn't a very popular character, but that might be an excuse for people to jack up the prices. I mean, he was in one episode. Tiga was a pretty popular series. They didn't release a whole lot of figures for that set. Some of them were reissued. He was the only one. He was one of the few that wasn't. I don't remember how much I paid for mine. I bought them a long time ago, so I really don't recall. I would say without tag, 10, 15 bucks would probably be the norm, I would think, in pretty good condition. With a tag, maybe 15, 20 bucks, give or take. If you can get it for cheaper, I say all the power to you. And then availability, I've only ever seen 2 on the internet, but after I bought mine, I stopped looking until I found, you know, on a whim, I was like, oh, look up Ligatron, that'll be hilarious. And then I found one with a tag for cheap, and I just wanted to, like, punch myself. And so, but you know, it happens as any other folks that might do the whole eBay thing. You'll buy something, and like 5 seconds later, it'll be like the exact same item in like better condition, or with the tag, and you know, for right around the same price. You'll just be kicking yourself in the ass for it. But it comes with the territory. But really, at the end of the day, you take it's as I said. The detail makes this figure. And I can understand why they didn't put that much paint on it, because of the sheer amount of detail. And I think my big allure with this figure is I love Gigan. Gigan is like my favorite, pretty much one of my favorite kaijus of all time. And I think the hands and it's got this really cool cyborg, alien, Gigan kind of thing. I really dig that, and I think it looks fantastic. But again, it might be a little shorter than most people prefer. The same thing that happened to Grand King. He was stricken by the shortness ailment, but you know, what can you do? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I wanted to pop this one out pretty quick. I really do like Ligatron, and so I was like, hey, people would like to hear about this guy. Not everybody's probably got him. One other thing before I close, though, last video, you know, we just did the big ass, large scale Red King. I forgot to thank a couple people for that, and I feel like an ass that I completely forgot that. I want to thank Kaiju Nomura because he was a huge help, other than the fact of doing the completely badass stop motion for my opening sequence. And, you know, he gave me all this information on this figure because I can't really read much Japanese. I mean, I have the Ultra Sufobi book, and, you know, I probably can't get it in the shop, but I'm going to pick it up. Sorry, Ligatron. You know, if you collect Ultras at all, you have to buy this book. I couldn't tell you how much they run. I got mine for Christmas. I'm sure they're kind of pricey because it's probably out of print. But totally buy it. If you're a fan, you have to have that book because it shows pretty much every Bond they ever released, what years they were released, color, date. For most of them, it has dates. Even some of the special edition ones. It's really, really cool, and I think you should buy it. But he was a huge help with me because I can't really read Japanese, and he's kind of like a guru for that kind of shit, and he just knows this stuff. So big, you know, I really appreciate his help. And then, you know, G2K Master, he's always there helping me out. You know, he's a great guy. You know, he does my blog and stuff, and he's just always an inspiration or a go-to guy. I need somebody to talk to, so I appreciate that. So, I think that's pretty much it for this one. Like I said, I just want to get those few thank yous out there and everything. So, end of this video. who knows, I might get inspiration tomorrow night and decide to do another one, but I love doing these toys, and I just wanted to get some of these figures that most of you don't usually see reviewed on YouTube. So I think that's it for this one, and we'll see you guys next time.